Welcome to a special podcast for the Local Hero Awards. My name's Shaquille Chauhan, and I have got the most amazing guest, the CEO of the Local Hero Awards. Today I'm going to be interviewing a most remarkable character, somebody who's actually inspired me as well. And today I think, you know what a special honor to have time with yourself, Bal. Thank you for inviting me, and also thank you for being here and making time.
It was long overdue, wasn't it?
It was way overdue, absolutely way overdue. Bal, you have been through a storm and you've come out flying. This is my assessment, okay? And I'm so impressed with what you've done. And I think the audience today, when they hear and they learn something about you, and I know you don't seek attention, but I'm going to throw some attention towards you anyway today, because sometimes you just have to recognize the great work that people do. And and to be honest, this is what the Local Hero Awards is about as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely. It's about recognition. It's about recognizing those people who haven't been recognized, that have been left ignored. But I also think the people who organize it, the person who's put it all together and made it happen, also deserves a little bit of recognition as well. So I hope you don't mind me doing some recognition for you as well today.
Not at all, not at all.
So Bal,
I'll take it today.
Who is Bal Heer? Tell the world.
Wow. Bal Heer is actually just a woman who has two beautiful sons and has been through a journey. You know, that's who Bal Heer is. Like any other person. I laugh and joke and cry like everybody else. But I feel that maybe today I hold a lot more examples of resilience. Yep. And, you know, I'm fierce. I know I'm fierce because when I have a vision, when we talk about visions and me and what have you, it's quite scary because if I've got a thought and I'm like, okay, I run with it. I literally say, as the Local Hero Awards was sort of formed, that was a vision. And I thought, you know what? I want to recognise other people, sort of fantastic people doing great things that don't get a look in, you know. And I just, what we saw last year, and we can talk about that in a bit, but what we saw last year, it's crazy because that was exactly the vision that I had in my head. But it's so difficult for me to describe the vision to people. A lot of the time, it's one of those, just trust me, you know. And it might sound crazy what I'm saying or what we're doing, but when the time comes to sort of unveil.
But people are trusting you.
Yes, they are.
And I've seen, trust on a massive scale.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't attend your event last year. I was unwell.
Yeah. And
I really was, I watched all the videos that people were posting, and it was phenomenal. And to think what you created in such a short space of time.
I know.
Because I run events and I know what goes into them. I know the effort that it takes and how much time it takes and how much support you need. You did it in rapid, short time with a lot of challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I had a lot going on that year.
The rug pulled on you on a venue, didn't you?
Yes. Oh God, yes, twice.
Twice.
This was Eastside Rooms, a third time lucky.
Yeah.
Third time lucky.
When you've got 500 people planning to attend and you've got no venue.
I know. Literally 2 weeks before the event, I had no venue again. 2 weeks before the event.
What was going through your mind?
I just looked up going, not funny anymore. You know, you've tested me enough. But listen, truthfully, what was in my mind is, okay, it's not meant to be, because I'm very spiritual. And when for something like this to happen, God hasn't brought me to this point for it to just fail now, 2 weeks before an event. So actually in my head, I was thinking, okay, it's not meant to be the ICC. It's not meant to be the NEC. I'm obviously going for the wrong place here. And within days, it just so happened that Eastside Rooms, and I thought, I've been to Eastside Rooms so many times before.
It's a brilliant venue.
It's a lovely venue. Why didn't I think of them before?
Yeah.
You know, it's centrally located. You know, it was an amazing venue, but thankfully they had the date free, and we know today it was always meant to be Eastside Rooms.
Yeah, I remember seeing the footage of that, and I tell you what, I was so gutted that I couldn't be there,
Yeah.
and I just knew that the next event that you do
Yeah.
is going to be even better, with an even bigger, and that was a big turnout that you
Oh
had
yeah,
for
absolutely.
that first one.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, for a
the
first event.
With anything, I believe it should always go from strength to strength.
Yep.
You know, the only way is up. We don't go down, we go up.
Okay, so now let's just delve back into, because I think people want to know really more about who you are, what's your background, how did you get to be the Bal Heer that everybody sees on social media today? Because there was a time when you were like a hiding little
Yeah.
wallflower
Yeah,
that
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
want any attention, that didn't want the limelight. I mean, not that I don't that you want the limelight. You are in the limelight now. You can't help it. Okay, it's just a byproduct of doing good stuff. Give us a little bit of history. Who are you?
So, a Wolverhampton girl originally.
Black country.
Black country, exactly.
They have their own language out there.
Yeah, I know.
I
they
struggle
do.
to understand that.
I know. If you speak to my uncles, it's another world.
Yeah.
You know, my mum as well, very, very harsh.
Even your mum?
Black country accent,
Oh my
yes. Yeah. But because obviously Dad doesn't have one because he normally speaks Punjabi and what have you. But and I think the girls don't have a harsh black country accent. My brother does.
Yeah.
Maybe we went to school and we actually learnt something. He didn't. You know, that's probably what it is. But yeah. No, do you know what? I come from quite a decent sized family. I've never had the need for anything growing up. Never. You know, my father came into this country, worked 3 jobs, you know, ended up being, you know, an entrepreneur, businessman himself. You know, this was the same person that couldn't, you know, he could read English, he could write English, but he couldn't speak English. But if you speak to him today, pure sort of clear as anything, you know, he can, he's absolutely...
So he's from the pioneering age.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think a lot of, and I had to give credit to him last year at the local Heer Awards as well, because who I am today is partially a reflection of him too. You know, the graft, the hard work, seeing somebody when they're at their highs, when they're at their lows, how do they handle the lows and how do they rise back up again? I've seen all of that with my father.
I think, you know, our older generation, what I call the pioneer generation, they worked at such an intensity with the most minimal resources.
Absolutely.
With huge challenges as new people in this country. They faced a lot of oppression.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your father probably and mother told you similar stories as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But despite that, they got their hands dirty.
Yeah.
And they just got on with life.
Of course, he was working in a foundry, a factory, and then behind the bar in a pub, which he then later bought. You know, he saved up and he bought the pub. And that's where he's always been in the pubs and clubs game, you know. So he's inspiring, you know, himself. That's definitely somebody that I look up to. Oh yeah, he won't give up. He won't give up. I mean, he doesn't physically have to do any work, but he's always getting involved in something or another. He's overseeing things. Yeah, absolutely. And when I say to him, Dad, you should retire, he looks at me as in the greatest offence, you know, has been taken.
What's that?
What is that? Exactly. And he's like, well, to him, if he's told to retire, it's probably sort of an assumption of, you know, you're old, you're frail, and, you know, you can't work anymore. And he went, it's like still absolutely fine. He says, I couldn't sit there and do nothing.
It's like submission, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fair play to him, because I think you find a lot of entrepreneurs who they continue, business-minded people.
Yeah.
They don't see this thing. It gets to 65 and then you just sit at home twiddling your thumbs, working out what new hobby you're going to find to do.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of upbringing has an impact on us as children.
Yeah, I think I'm already seeing, you know, that I'm mimicking him there as well. Not that I'm anywhere near a retirement age, not yet. You know, but you know, sometimes I think to myself, I was in a position, everything was going great. I've, you know, expanded my businesses. Why do you want to go and put yourself into something new again and start, you know, down there, graft at the ground floor level? Because with anything new, you know, a lot of work is required for that. I could have just left it sort of, where I had it easy and just continued on with my day-to-day the way it was. I've got people in place looking after things. But I guess I'm also not one to just sit there and do nothing. I need to be involved with something, I need to get my hands dirty. And I think today it's more about seeing how I can help others as opposed to asking for help from other people for something. I don't need to ask for help for me. If I'm going to ask somebody for help, it's because of a bigger
What drives
purpose.
that desire to help others? Were you extraordinarily helped, or were you lacking in help in your career?
No, I didn't have any help, Shaquille. When I started my business, I literally didn't have a penny in my back pocket. Literally. I had nothing. I was in a very violent marriage because I did remarry, and then that was a violent marriage as well. It was very toxic. I have, 2 young children that I'm looking after. I left my workplace purely because, there was disrespect there. And I think I'm a big one for respect because, when I feel...
What was your career at that time?
I actually worked in an estate agency. I've done sort of various things.
Yeah.
So I'm an ex-police officer. I've been the best in sales and marketing. And then obviously I took time out because I had the kids. And then when we needed money, it was only down to me because the other party was like, can never find a job or anything like that. And bills need paying, food needs putting on the table. So I was seeking work as well, as much as I could do, whether it was part-time or what have you. And then worked for an estate agent, but I came in as a receptionist, and they actually said to me when they saw my CV, they went, "You're overqualified for this." And I went, "It doesn't matter." I said, "Look, it's a benefit to you. Exactly. I have bills to pay. I promise you, you're not just going to get a receptionist. You're going to get a whole other few titles along with that for free, for the same amount."
So you did a good sale on them.
Absolutely. I needed work. We've got to put food on the table. So I was doing that, and I was with them for about 3.5 years. And then one day I had my manager just turn around and say to me, "You will do what I tell you to do."
Oh, really?
Those were his words. "You will do what I tell you to do."
Your head must have blown.
It didn't sit right with me
Yeah.
at all. It did not sit right with me. And it was just one of those. Then did he really just say that to me? I can tolerate a lot, and I
He made a
respect so
mistake.
many people, He was younger than me as well, but I respected him because he's my manager at the end of the day. He's the owner's younger brother. And I just thought, it's okay. I think for our age and above, we still have respect for titles, despite the age behind them. And but this time I was just like, no, he will not talk to me like that. And I just said to him, I went, "No, I won't do what you tell me to do." I went to my desk, remember picking up my bag and walked straight out the back because we used to come in through the back and leave through the back. And at that point, he didn't say anything. I went to my car and I started crying straight away because I was scared, thinking, that was the only income.
Where's the money coming from?
Where's the money going to come from now? And I just, within 2 weeks, everything happened so fast. And within 2 weeks, I just thought, do you know what? Because I was bringing in sort of tens of thousands of pounds in daily for them. Yeah. And I just thought, do you know what, Belle? Do what you know best. Just do it for yourself, though.
Yeah.
And I'm not into poaching clients. I would never do anything like that. Integrity means a lot to me. And I never want anybody to say, "You only got here because of this or because of that." No, I have to sort of create it myself. And don't get me wrong, I had clients that were calling me that were like, "Oh, you're never in the office." I said, "I don't work there anymore." "Well, if you don't work there, who's looking after my properties?" And I went, "Well, somebody there will be looking after your properties." And they went, "No, we gave them to you because we trust you.
They built the
We
relationship
don't care
with
about
you.
the company. We trust you." And I said, "I don't want to get involved here, but you'd have to go and take that up with them. If you're not with them, okay, I'm not going to say no, but I'm not here to poach you from them, you know. And yeah, I just very quickly sort of thought to myself, yeah, I'm going to do this myself. There's nothing to lose because you have nothing at all. You know, you don't have anything to lose, literally. And I guess that was just putting it in sort of, you know, the hands of faith and just seeing what would happen.
So the adversities that you went through with breakdown in marriage.
Yeah.
And you had a little baby at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So my first marriage, it was when my son was 6 weeks old.
This is a very formative period in your life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, my son was 6 weeks old, and again, the whole sort of violence occurred, and I just remember sort of falling back onto sort of a sofa a bit bigger than this. I had my son in my arms, and it just scared the life out of me that he'd obviously gone for an attack whilst holding our son.
Incredible.
Of 6 weeks. You know, I could have dropped him. Anything could have happened. And I think that's the day I woke up. That's the day I became mum. You know,
And this was after how many years of marriage?
This was around 6 years after.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember I was pregnant 5 years into the marriage.
And was it always abusive throughout?
No.
Didn't start off.
If there's a pattern that I recall with both marriages,
Yeah.
it always started once I was pregnant.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think's going on?
I don't know. Maybe there's a fear of losing me prior to that, you know. But I think maybe they felt that, okay, no, she's carrying a child now, or, you know, that connects us. That maybe sort of is the reason that she will have to stay, because at that point I didn't have my family as well. So what else will she do? Who else will she go to? You know, I think advantage was taken off. When I look back...
So this is when I think the reality is you're now vulnerable.
Yeah, very vulnerable.
And if you've got a negative-minded
they're taking
man...
advantage of that.
They're taking advantage.
Yeah, exactly, of that vulnerability. But you know...
That's a sign of a weak man, that is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know when they say never kick a man when he's down? Okay? Well, that was kicking me when I was down, you know. But what people don't realise is that, you know, if you're going to kick somebody when they're down, just remember they will get back up.
How long were you a victim for?
Ooh.
Before you decided you're a fighter?
I knew I was a fighter beforehand, you know. Yeah. I think I started to fight, and the very first time, you know, when I mentioned, even at one of my talks, in the first marriage, I just had to, I was about to break, I was about to give in, I was about to go back, and just for the sake of having some security, as in, you know, roof over the head, food in my son's mouth and things like that. So I fought then.
And how much of this is our culture as well?
A lot of it.
Where women, and I see it all the time.
Yeah.
Where women run back and their families are not supportive.
Exactly.
Because of shame and honour and all of this.
Yeah, exactly. But my family wasn't, they weren't aware of what was going on.
You didn't tell them?
No. I always knew that it takes one call. You know, I always knew it takes one call, you know, but I never wanted to put my father in that situation. You know, that's the truth of that. I chose my partner, you know, it was my bed, I had to lie in it.
So that's part of the part of it why you kept it to yourself, because
that's right, exactly.
This wasn't an arranged marriage.
No, exactly. It was of my choice.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those.
Makes it more difficult for you to get your family involved.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because they'll be like, well, you wanted to marry him, you know. So I kind of accept.
But did they ever say that, or was this your feeling?
That was my feeling.
Right.
You know, the truth of it is that my dad would never have ignored.
He would never have abandoned you.
Oh God, no.
But you were swayed
opposite.
by the general culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I was more worried about what I'd have to hear from my sisters or my mother. You know, I was more worried about them, not my dad. My dad, I've always known, is in my corner.
Interesting.
You know, I've always known it. So I found it quite funny in one respect that these men thought I had nobody, when the reality was absolutely different. Even though they weren't around, it was a matter of one call if I needed to make it. And if that one call was made, they wouldn't be seeing the future. That's the reality of it.
Men, if there's one thing that sickens me, it's men who are abusive to women, because that makes you a coward. And if that's you and the cap fits, do something about it. Change yourself. Don't be a bully. Back to you. I just had to say that.
No, that's fine.
You know, I have an older sister who went through something similar as well. My sister was lucky. Well, she kept it quiet for years. We knew what was going on and we wanted to intervene and she wouldn't let us. Eventually, we'd had enough.
Yeah.
And the four brothers turned up and we dealt with him.
Yeah.
And his entire life trajectory after that changed elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I think this is what I'm saying. You know, people sometimes clearly, you know, I portrayed, you know, clearly they saw me as this weak individual, you know, that didn't have anybody, there's nothing anybody can do. And I guess it was just my own stupidness at the time as well.
But you couldn't have been a weak individual because you were a police officer.
I wasn't, exactly. So I'm not a weak individual, but the fact is, when you are in that vulnerable stage where children are concerned, to them you become you're
you back
seen
off
as
yourself
weak.
as
Yes,
well, don't
exactly.
you actually hold back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the child is involved, the baby's
exactly.
involved.
It's no longer just about me. You know, if it was me, the truth is, I'll take you one-on-one. You know, but when if I'm carrying a child or there's a child involved, there's a lot of things that you can't do anymore.
So that experience really was very influential in shaping who you are and what you then went on to do.
Yeah.
You said, stuff it, I'm running a business.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously by this time it's second marriage. I think it wasn't even stuff it, I'm running a business. It's a do or die moment. You know, I have to do something. I've got to create the change.
Yeah.
You know, it's about doing whatever it takes and,
taking charge and taking control.
Yeah, and taking chances, taking risks, calculated risks as well. You know, I'm a big risk taker, but I always say they are calculated. You know, I'm always looking at sort of backup plans and backup plans for the backup plan as well. You know, and that's why I am known not to fail. If you notice, and this isn't me trying to sound big-headed, but what I put my hand to will succeed.
And you know what? I love that attitude because that is the difference between people who follow through and see things to fruition and actually accomplish something as opposed to the people who start something and they don't see it through. No. And then they blame their circumstances, the weather, the government and everybody else.
The thing is, Shaquille, you know, I don't care about everybody else that's watching me. I care about my sons watching me.
You've got two sons now.
Yes, you know, I've got.
They're young grown men now, aren't they?
They are. Some people, you know, always, they can never believe their ages because they're huge. They're like
tall.
over 6 foot.
I haven't met them, but I've.
Yeah.
In fact, no. Did I meet them at an event at Christmas?
Could you have?
Did they come to you to the Black Tie Do? And
which one was that?
I can't remember the one at Christmas at the new venue near the city centre.
No, I don't think they did.
I've seen photos and videos of them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you could just tell by I'm a tall person.
You're tall, aren't you?
So if they're towering me,
they're big lads.
It just goes to show exactly. But you know, I care more about their perception, you know, on me.
How are they inspired by you? What's the feedback they give you? Because it must be very heartwarming when they see you and they acknowledge our mum is like a super mum.
I know. Actually, I remember my son saying, you know, oh, you know, my mates think you're a celebrity and, you know, whatnot. And I can see that they're proud, you know. I can see they are proud of me. And
which makes you even more
it
proud.
makes me proud. It makes me feel, you know, yes, my sons are proud of me. You know, they're the only ones, them and my dad, you know, they're the only ones I want to do proud. Not that I'm saying I don't care about my mum. I'm just saying, you know, it's my sons, my dad are everything in my life. You know, they are, you know, part of me. Without them, there's something missing in me. You know, I'm not whole without those three men, I can say today, you know.
Now, when I first met you, I think it's I think probably initially about 6 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And then 5 years ago, you came to me. For those of you who don't know, I'm a sales trainer and I'm a public speaking coach. And you wanted to work on your communication skills. And anybody looking at you now will think, what is she on about? What are you on about?
She doesn't stop talking.
She doesn't stop talking. She speaks with celebrity. I mean, you've been filmed and videoed with so many high-end people now. But I recall, but for those people who don't know the backstory, people develop. And this is why, one of the reasons why I'm really keen to do this video, this interview with you today, this podcast, is because I want people to understand that the finished article that you see, there was a beginning somewhere. And that beginning was vastly different from where you are today. And that journey should inspire people. You know, and I know you're big on inspiring people. It's something that's really important. I get a massive buzz from inspiring people, you know, to see people develop and grow. So I feel incredibly proud that I'm claiming this, by the way, publicly, that I'm part of the journey that has taken you to where you are today.
Yeah.
Because that day when you walked into my office, you were trembling like a leaf.
Yeah, because I was being asked, well, I was randomly asked to speak at an event, as you know.
Business networking
exactly,
dinner.
Business networking event. And that was going to be the first time ever that I was going to be publicly speaking.
What was going through your mind at that time when you got asked?
I didn't even have time to think. I just, you know, I like to, I'm a yes person most of the time. I'm like, okay. I just literally went, okay, because Abid turned around and says, Bal, you're speaking at my next event. And I went, oh, okay. Part of me thought, me? Why did he ask me? Because I forget what other people see in me.
What they see, yeah. So he obviously
exactly.
saw something.
Yeah.
That he thought, you know what, people need to hear from this lady.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I thought at the time. I was like, what have I got to say? You know, because to me, I'm just normal Bal. She's just a mother, just trying to make it in this world, you know, and just trying to keep the bills paid, keep a roof over her head. There's nothing, I never needed to or wanted to, you know, gain limelight or, you know, be in the eye of, you know, a lot of people and what's she doing now and what's she wearing, you know, or what have you. I've never needed that, but somehow I've claimed
it was finding
that.
you.
Yeah, it was finding me. But there was obviously something that Abid saw that he felt I needed to share. Because I suppose prior to that, anybody that knew me, you know, on a personal level probably would have known my story. So maybe that was just a case of, I want you to share it. And, you know, I've got to, again, I give people credit where it's due. You know, if it wasn't for Abid asking me to speak, you know, would I have realised on that night when I did eventually speak, as scared as I was, obviously, because I came to see you and I was like, oh, Abid's asked me to speak at his event. Shaquille, I need help. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. You know, I just didn't know. And I started panicking. And I guess I panic because I care. You know, why I get nervous, why I start, you know, probably feeling anxiety or anything like that is because I care about what other people will think of what I have to say. Now, what I mean by that is, will I be adding any value to them for them from my story? That's what I want to give. I like to give people value, you know.
Well, we did the training. And then I saw you deliver, and I
Yeah.
tell you what, out of all the people I've coached and I've watched them speak at events, especially when it's their first ever public speaking opportunity, which that was for you,
Yeah.
I was immensely proud of what I saw, because although you probably think you felt uncomfortable, but for the people watching, you came across flawless.
Yeah,
And
I watched it back.
You watched it, and I just
I
watched it
back.
recently because it
Yeah.
came up in my memories just recently on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I think I remember sharing it with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Send it, look at this,
Yes,
be proud.
you did, yeah.
And I watched that and I thought, you know what? The transformation from where you were in a very short space of time to how you delivered in front of, there was about 100 odd people in that room.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're not an all easy audience, because you've got there's a lot of successful people in that room.
Sure, yeah.
You've got people with high expectations and high demands. They don't want to listen to a bumbling little clown, because they're paying money to be there.
Exactly, yeah.
They want to hear somebody who speaks well, eloquently, delivers a phenomenal story, but importantly delivers value.
Yeah.
And you know what? You did all of those things in an abundance.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, guys, watch the interview. Not the interview, sorry, the talk that Bal Heer gave.
I think it's on my YouTube. It's
On your
under
YouTube.
Bal Heer, Define the Odds. Yeah.
Bal Heer, Defying the Odds.
Yeah.
Look it up, because I think if you are feeling down and low, this is a short 10, 12 minute talk. That's about 10 or 12 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That is so packed, it feels like it went on for, literally, I thought I was listening for an hour, because you put so much content into that time.
Yeah.
How was that a defining moment for you? Because I think it was one of your defining moments.
100%. I tell you what, the feedback immediately,
Yeah.
the feedback from people approaching me on the night. I had so many people approaching me on the night. I didn't get home until after midnight that night because of so many people wanting to.
Everybody wanted to talk to you,
Yeah, exactly.
didn't they?
It was, can I have a picture? Can I have a picture? Can I have a picture with you? You know, and
How did that feel? People wanting photos with you?
it was weird. I was like, oh,
'Cause
wow.
that hadn't happened to you before,
Yeah,
had it?
that hadn't happened to me before.
Yeah.
That was one of the first times. You know, other times I've had pictures, but it's with friends
With
and whenever
friends,
we're
yeah.
at an event or
Now
something
you've got
like that.
strangers.
This is strangers saying, that was amazing. Oh my God, you know, can we connect? Blah, blah, blah. I'd love to talk to you about this. I'd love to talk to you about, I'd love to get your advice on this. I'd love to get your advice on that. And it was quite overwhelming, actually, you know, that day. And I also had to digest how many people I actually, you know, impacted that day. And I just thought, especially with the feedback, you know, of people approaching me, coming up to me saying, that was amazing, I relate to this, and, you know, that's incredible, and, you know, this is right what you're saying here, and I agree with what you're saying there. And I thought, right, clearly the message that I had, because obviously there was a message in the whole thing in itself, you know, but, you know, clearly people are interested in that, you know,
People
they
were
find
resonating
value
with-
in that,
'Cause
exactly.
it was, look, I mean, I was there, it was powerful.
Yeah.
It was very emotional.
Yeah.
There were people in
It was.
tears in the audience.
Yes, I actually saw, and like I said, just from people coming back to me, and I still get people today mentioning that talk, exactly, you know. So I know that definitely not just for the people in the room, but for the people that have, you know, seen and watched that even outside of the room, you know, from the video that was uploaded. It's done its job, I would say. You know, it was there to firstly send a message, you know, that it doesn't matter, you know, truly what you are at the start.
It's where you're going.
It's where you go. It's the journey along the way
and
as
what
well.
you do
What
about
you're going to
it.
pick up along that way, because everything, as I stated in the speech, you know, we've got to accept the small wins along the way.
You know, just reminds me of a famous saying from Jim Rohn, who was a
Yeah.
mentor of mine. Somebody I looked up to. He passed away sort of 17 odd years ago now. But he said something about, it's not about where you are.
Yeah.
It's about what you plan to become
Yeah, exactly.
and the action that you take. And what you do about it to
Yes,
get there.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I totally agree. And, you know, that's why I wanted, and I think I remember saying to you as well, when we were prepping for
Yeah.
this, you know, I was like, I don't want to do the same old boring stuff, Shaquille, that other
Yeah.
people talk
Yeah.
about. You should be like this in business. You should be like that in business. 'Cause ultimately, it was about business. It's a
Yep.
business.
It's a business
networking
talk, business event.
Yeah. But I think what held so much more power is that you see a strong woman today, you see a woman that's obviously successful, because by that time I'd just opened my second branch when I was doing that talk. So I clearly know a thing or two about business. I hold that sort of credential. But I think the biggest sort of inspiration is knowing that, you know, the person sat next to me could have initially thought, yeah, did your family help you out? Did they help fund you? You know, did dad pay for something?
Very often.
Very often.
People are cynical.
Yeah.
They have these
Yeah.
ideas.
Did
don't
she
they,
have all
that
this support
a
and
man's-
backing?
Yeah. There was
exactly.
a husband's money.
Exactly. You know, so I thought it was really important to show them that, you know, if I can do it from nothing, okay, from nothing, then so can you. Because as well as people already sort of excelling in their businesses, there were people, startups, that are looking to.
I just want to touch on something, and I think this is really important for people who are watching, and especially people who think, you know what, I'd like to run a business, but don't have enough money.
Yeah. Oh,
You didn't have any money at that time.
And I always say to people,
How did you run a business
money
from scratch?
What you have to do is you've got to work with what you've got firstly.
Yeah.
Okay. I always say to people, money isn't everything. I recall just before opening up my company, Regional Homes, I had a few people approaching me saying, let's do this together. I'll fund it. I'll fund it. You know, let's be partners.
That must have got you thinking, if they've got confidence in me.
It got me thinking, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But then, you know, I'm hearing things like, and don't worry about staff. I can bring my son in. You can train him up, you know, and, you know, so we've got staff as well. And I had to sort of sit down and go, hold on a minute. Yes, I may not have the money to finance this, but I can easily see where this may go in the future. I see myself being thrown out somehow, you know, because the skill, the knowledge that I hold, you want me to pass that on to your son. But once I've done that, where do you need me?
Where does it leave you?
Not where does it leave me? Where do you need me
That's it. Yeah.
in that business?
You're no longer needed.
Yeah, you know. But again, you know, there was just something that was saying to me, no, don't. Because sometimes you think, if somebody's doing it with me, it gives you a bit more, you know, as we say, a bit more himmat to go forward and okay, I'll take this sort of new venture on. And going alone is also just as scary, okay? But the way I like to see it is sometimes I don't like putting risk onto others, and I don't like being the reason for why somebody else's sort of venture hasn't worked out. So I'd rather take it just for myself. You know, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least I don't need to feel bad about somebody else's situation. You know, it's just to do with me. So I wasn't going to do a partnership. I don't think I could trust. It's very difficult for me to trust people as it is. You know, so partnership doesn't work with me. You know, I don't mind forming partnerships in terms of
Collaboration, you don't mind, do you?
collaboration,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know, but I wouldn't go into business with another person.
Yeah, there's no need to hand your cake over to somebody else.
Yeah, but the thing is,
when you're the one who baked it.
No, but the thing is, you see, today I am more than happy to tell people and give people advice. I've had estate agents that I've given advice to. I do not see them as a threat at all, you know, and I do feel it's okay for you to know what I know. One thing we have to remember, okay, we can both have the same outfit, okay, but you are not going to look exactly the same as how I look in the same
because
outfit.
you've got your unique character. You bring something. Well, I like this because I've actually collaborated with other people who do what I do.
Yeah.
in the coaching space and event space. And I've had people say, why are you working with that? Aren't they stepping on your toes?
No.
And I'm thinking, no, you're being short-sighted.
Yes.
There is something powerful
Yeah.
in the being accepting of the power of collaboration.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
know you've done that. It's something that
100%.
I feel
I had
is
somebody,
business advice.
I'll let you know, okay, that I have another, I'd like to see them as a friend, you know, that's also in the industry of, you know, awards and what have you. And, you know, we met up a few months ago. All the girls met up and, you know, they turned around and they were saying, oh my God, production is costing me this much, you know. And when I heard the amount, I went, what? How much? You know, she said, yeah, Belle, she said, production is costing this much, you know. And I went, wow. I says, do you know what? I said, I think I can get you somebody that's just as good, because obviously you've seen the local Hero Awards, okay? A lot less than what you're paying. Now, some people might see that person as a rival.
You're helping somebody, a competitor.
Yeah,
But
but
the thing,
there's nothing to compete.
but
And, you
you're
know,
doing some, your ethos and your whole project.
yeah,
So look, there's a lot of awards out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of, and we had conversations about this.
yeah,
Where we're probably inundated with awards nights.
yeah,
When I first heard of, and I'll be honest,
Yeah.
when I first heard you doing an awards night, my initial thought was, I know Bal, but isn't this just another awards night?
yeah.
But I didn't say anything to you because I didn't want to upset you or
Yeah.
burst your bubble or anything.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, well, let's just watch because hopefully she's going to do something different.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I think people should know. I think this is an opportunity to sort of tell people what's the difference between the local Hero Awards and any other award ceremony that they've been to, you know. Other award ceremonies, it's more, as we spoke about, you know, it's more of a commercial thing. It's a business.
It's a business, yeah.
And that's absolutely fine.
It's a working model.
There's nothing wrong with it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you hear people saying things like, oh, look how much they charge and this, that and the other. But it's a business, you know.
It's a business.
And credit
it
to
gives
them,
people,
you know.
it raises people's profile, it
that's
gives
it.
exposure.
That's the point. So, you know, yes, it's a business, but that's exactly what people can achieve out of it. If they're a finalist, from being that point onwards, you have an opportunity to sing and dance about the fact that you, amongst many other people, been recognised in your field, in your sector, your industry. So, you know, I'm not knocking what they do.
Yeah.
Okay. There are some out there that I would question the integrity of the awards. Okay. I'm not going to name names, but I definitely do question the integrity of some of these, you know, award ceremonies that take place.
Well, I'll tell you myself.
Yeah.
I've been nominated for an award.
Yeah.
I got a phone call.
Yeah.
And I thought, very nice. Who
Yeah.
nominated me? Oh, we can't say it. And I thought, fair enough.
Yeah.
Confidentiality. Keeps it ethical. And then I got a request an email. Requested my email. I sent the email. And I got a request for, was it like 10 tickets for a whole table?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, I'm the one who's nominated. I'll come with my wife.
Yeah.
Just 2 tickets.
Yeah.
After that, I never heard of my nomination again.
Wow.
The impression I got was because I'm not spending the money
Yes.
on 10 tickets
Yeah.
at about 100 quid each,
Yeah.
I'm disinvited.
More than that.
Well, probably,
by the way.
yeah.
More than that. Yeah.
And some are more than that. And I was really, really puzzled.
Yeah.
And it got me, and this was a few years back. And I was thinking, because maybe I was naive, and I thought, awards, somebody's nominated, there's a panel of judges, they're all independent,
Yeah.
and you know, the whole process will be fair. I attended many awards evenings, and I started to learn that it's actually, you've been naive. It's not that straightforward.
Yeah, and I think, you know, this is where, you know, again, you know, let's take this opportunity to sort of note the differences. That's business. This is purely about, you know, people. It's more of a community sort of get together, recognising all different people of all different backgrounds across the UK now as well, you know, that have been doing phenomenal, selfless acts within their communities that normally wouldn't get a look in. Yeah, you know, you just wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know
about that
that
person
yeah.
that helped save somebody, you know, almost about to jump off a bridge.
People who've changed
You know.
people's lives. People who've had an impact on people's lives.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason why I want to do it, I know it was very risky, Shaquille. I know it was very risky. Every time I hold something like this, I am putting a hell of a lot
On the
of
line, you are. Your personal
weight
credit,
on my shoulders.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people do underestimate how much goes into the local hero awards, because number one, this is non-profit, so we don't make anything from this. Okay, we rely heavily, you know, on sponsorship. Now, last year we didn't have any financial sponsors.
If you're a business and you need brand recognition, this is the time. Get in touch, be a sponsor. The rewards for your business will be unlimited.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, again, if we want to sort of name some of the differences, you go to any other award ceremony and you see just the screen and the stage for the local hero awards. In itself, it blows every other one out
I saw
of the
the
park.
video.
Yeah.
It was like the Oscars.
Yes.
It was this huge
Yeah.
stage, the full width. I mean, I've been to
And
the.
it's going to be
I've been
exactly
to
the same again.
I've been to that venue before.
Yeah.
My daughter's university graduation was there.
Yeah.
And I remember the stage is enormous.
Yeah.
And your screens went from there all the way across.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is unbelievable.
Yeah. People's faces
production
when
levels,
they walked into the room,
they must have been.
They were shocked.
Yeah.
They never thought they were going to see that, because everyone else doesn't do that bigger
Yeah,
screens.
you
and
went to town on that.
100%. Because why? For our local heroes. The
Because
people
their
that we're
faces were on
recognising.
those screens.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And in the same way, I mean, although we didn't have financial sponsors, we had sponsors such as people that provided their services, you know, so it could have been, say, the photographer or the videographer, you know. Obviously, you're never going to get the venue, catering and
Some things that have to still be
production,
paid for.
you know, that's never going to be sponsored. You know, it's far too much to expect them to
Yeah.
sponsor that as well. But the rest of it, you know, media boards or red carpet, whatever it might be, there's a lot, you know, table centres, you know, linen, because we didn't want to do the whites. We wanted to go elite. We wanted our finalists to feel like celebrities.
I'll tell you what, it looked like a high value, high end, 5-star event.
And it was,
Yeah.
you know, and that's exactly what we delivered.
And I think as a result, you've attracted I mean, back then you had some well-known celebrities attending.
Yes, I was very, very fortunate that we had Apache Indian,
Yep.
who was
Big
and
international star.
absolutely, you know. But I think what was lovely, every element of the Local Hero Awards was ensuring that the guests had the most best experience ever. So I don't want, you know, a celebrity to come and just be sat somewhere where nobody can speak to that person, nobody can get a picture with that person, you know, or, you know, there's got to be more interaction. There's got to be, you know, a way that everything that you'd want to do.
You don't want them inaccessible.
You know, exactly.
You don't need divas, but you've got some high-end people now.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got some big names. Are you happy to disclose some names?
Absolutely.
Go on then, let's wow the people.
I've got to
with some of
think
the
about
people.
the list. There's a big list,
Yeah.
you know, and obviously there's more always adding to it. And I will only ever mention somebody that has actually confirmed. Yeah,
Brilliant.
exactly. So I'll mention a few because I don't want to.
Don't spoil it by telling everybody. But
so we
give
have
a bit of a taster.
We have Alex Reid attending. Okay,
Yeah.
he's, for anybody that doesn't know, the MMA fighter and champion, Alex Reid. We've got Bobby Davro attending.
Bobby Davro.
Yeah,
He's hilarious.
I know, you know,
Amazing,
a childhood favourite.
amazing comedian.
You know, we've got Bobby Davro attending.
I grew up watching Bobby Davro.
Yeah, I know. We've got Jay Aston.
Yeah.
From the Eurovision Song Contest, if you remember, and Bucks Fizz. So she'll be attending.
They're a household name.
Yeah, Raj Bisram, TV presenter.
Yeah.
Nick Moram, actor, and producer, I think it is. Yeah, so apparently he starred in the Harry Potter film.
Yeah, yeah.
Who else can I think? Who else? We've got Honey G coming as well.
Okay, okay.
You know, PBN.
PBN.
We have PBN attending, Punjabi by Nature.
Oh yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. I thought I was
producer.
talking about a news channel there.
No,
PBN,
no. Yeah,
brilliant.
PBN's attending. There's
a lot of high
yeah,
profile
there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are going to be in attendance this year. And again, you know, I must point out that these celebrities, you know, are the best of the crop. And the reason why I'm saying that, because these
How much are you
celebrities,
paying them?
nothing,
Nothing.
nothing,
Why are they doing it for nothing?
because they understand the cause. They get it. This is way bigger than you or I. You know, it is much bigger than just one person. The Local Hero Awards is a movement. You know, it's about celebrating individuals and organisations and smaller companies from across the UK that are selflessly giving back into their society and community.
It is unusual to have people who are high profile to do things for nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Highly
When I say
unusual.
nothing, okay, we need to arrange their transport. That's it.
No, I mean
That's practically
yeah,
nothing.
to pay for their cab or their parking.
Yeah, and
is
that's
fine,
understandable. Exactly,
Okay.
you know.
But they're not getting an appearance fee.
Looking for a sponsor partner, by the way, if there's anyone out there.
Oh yes. So there is a space for a headline sponsor.
Oh yes, absolutely. Well, there's
Yeah.
plenty of opportunities to sponsor.
Yeah.
Take advantage of the huge screens. Take advantage of the supersized media boards. Take advantage of the fact that we're going to have Hayley Palmer, actually, of Sky TV.
She's a TV presenter.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So again, significant sponsors will
Is
be
she
able
going to be doing interviews?
She'll be doing the on the sofa interview. So we have the red carpet interviews, and then we also have the on the sofa interviews.
A bit like this.
Yeah, exactly. And that is then going to be aired on her show, which is on Sky. So how much would you normally pay for an advert?
Are they?
Yes.
They're going to be on her show, on her TV show.
Absolutely.
Guys, this is big.
Yeah,
To get TV exposure
Yeah.
is mega expensive.
exactly. And
Yeah.
this is why we say we are all about giving back. Even with our sponsors, you're going to get way more than what you're normally used to. You know.
If you are a potential sponsor and you want to leverage the opportunity, this is the time to take advantage of it. Get in touch.
Yeah.
Just get in touch.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised. We have something for everybody. We have packages. You know, we can tailor something for the small businesses. You know, we don't expect everybody to be able to afford thousands and thousands and become a headline sponsor. You know, we have something for everybody.
What do you think is going to be the projected audience numbers?
At least 500.
Minimum
Yeah.
500 people.
Yeah.
Included in that, I mean, I already know some of the names that people are coming, but there's going to be a lot of high-profile business people
Oh,
there.
yeah, absolutely.
There are going to be people who are going to be interested in your products and services.
Yeah, this is a powerful networking
platform.
opportunity as well. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know.
You're going to have an opportunity to get exposure at
Yeah.
at a high-value event.
And I've always said, the people, you know, they're the customers, they're the everyday people, you know, that make and build businesses to what they are today. Okay, so you know, they hold the power, and they are the ones technically that have attracted the high-profile guests. These local heroes, clearly, with everything that they've done, they've attracted the high-profile guests. The high-profile guests are now bringing another level to the audience and the people that are going to be in it.
So this is just a reminder. This is not really about. I mean, based on what you just said,
Yeah.
this is not about the celebrity.
No.
Although they're there, and it's nice to have
Yeah.
pictures with famous people and whatever, because they'll all be very amenable to it.
Yeah.
But this is really about the unsung heroes.
Absolutely.
And this is why they're turning up. So people who are busy, they've got schedules. People are generally hard to get hold of because
Yeah.
they travel a lot.
Yeah.
They're on location doing whatever it is that they do, you know, as performers, as actors and entertainers and
Yeah.
singers. But these are people who are giving time because you are bringing together a whole bunch of people
What I'm bringing is
from all over the
something
country.
that they understand is bigger than them,
Yeah.
you know.
Big vision, big mission.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, a lot of the time people say to me, why are you doing this? You know, and again, it boils back to, you know, well, I know.
Can I just ask you?
Yeah.
You're not making any money out of it.
No.
You're a businesswoman.
Yeah.
And business people generally don't get out of bed
Unless
and talk
they're
to people
getting
unless
something out
there's
of it.
money to be made.
Yeah.
Unless there's something in it for them.
Yeah.
Literally, there's nothing in it for you in this other than the stress of
there's
organising
actually,
things.
There's
What
a
is
lot of
in it
stress
for you?
involved, but what's mainly in it for me
Yeah.
is the sense of that fulfillment afterwards when I realise how many people's lives I've impacted in a positive way. Last year, I had people almost in tears. I saw people emotional, okay? And the thing with the Local Hero Awards as well, it's not just the winners that are getting recognised. As far as we're concerned, the moment you pass finalist, you're all going to be celebrated. One way or another, you're all being celebrated. You're all being celebrated as if you're the celebrities on the night, you know. This won't just hold off to just the winner, you know.
So one of the things I've noticed with the awards that you're running in particular, compared to what I've seen elsewhere,
Yeah.
and this just really reframes the purpose of why you do things. Normally, when you go to awards, I've seen the numbers of what do they call them, the runners-up and whatever,
Yeah.
the finalists. It's like a huge number,
Mm-hmm.
and straight away you know this is commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
saw-
It's a business model.
I think I mentioned earlier, I saw the majority have like 20 plus
20
categories.
plus categories and
You tell me,
dozens.
Shaquille, if you've got 20 plus categories, okay, where's the time for anything else other than award after award after award after award? Is there any
I think you're going to
entertainment?
get a little bit bored, aren't you?
Yeah,
You need to
exactly.
respect people's time.
Yeah, exactly.
people will turn up.
You know, do you really get entertainment out of it? You know, what about? Not everybody's obviously going to win. I've also seen, you know, these, you know, categories holding 10 to 12 different finalists in them. You know, which I just think is absolutely absurd. You know, it's just like,
it's excessive.
Seriously? You know, the Local Hero Awards has 4 finalists. That's it. Max 5
4
if there was a
finalists for
joint.
and how many total categories?
13.
That's it.
It's not that's it. That's it because we want to entertain people. This is a celebration. That's
And to be
where
honest,
we're
I tell
different.
you what, I remember watching the videos and I saw how people were jumping and
Yeah.
dancing and they were being joyful.
Absolutely.
And,
you
and
know.
I've been to black tie do's where you don't even really get time to network.
Yeah.
Because it's constant and the next person is and the next person
Yeah,
is.
exactly. Do you know how many times, I don't know about yourself, but how many times, because I've been to many of these,
Yeah.
you know, before, but I'm looking at the programme. Where are we now? Where are we now? Right? Are we not going, hold on a minute, wasn't it supposed to finish at this time?
Yeah.
But they've still got all of these to do.
Yeah.
You know,
I've been to awards where people, they're not even fed till like 10 o'clock. Literally, it happened
yeah, it's
once,
true. I've
where
witnessed the same.
it's-
Yeah.
You've been there since 7, sometimes half 6, and the food doesn't
Yeah.
come out till 10
Well,
o'clock.
that's another thing that was highlighted from our awards ceremony last year. Everything ran like clockwork.
Clockwork.
And I made it very clear, 7 p.m. prompt, the main ceremony will start. Okay? If you're there, you're there. If you're not, you're not.
So this is not being run on Asian time.
Yeah.
This is being run on British
Actual
time.
British time,
on
yeah,
British time.
exactly, yeah.
I like that because we live in Britain.
Yeah.
Let's do things to clockwork.
Yeah.
'Cause the British
So when
are
we
very
say
good at
we'll
doing
be
things.
finishing at a certain time, it means we're going to finish at a certain
So
time.
And I think, you know what, that's really important because what that does is it respects people's time.
You know, people have
Because
brought,
people are making-
got babysitters maybe or something like that. But I think, again, you know, just going back to sort of what I get from the awards, last year I had a number of different finalists that I was able to sort of, thankfully, yes, meet, but then there was a number that I didn't as well. And a lot of the last year, actually, I had to look back on through videos because it went so fast in front of me on the night. You know, it just, it was like before
Like a
my eyes
flash
gone.
gone.
You know, all that preparation, all that hard work.
And I bet
how quick
you
did it go?
started, literally the next day, you started all over again.
I did. Well, I actually.
Did you have a day off?
I took a break. I had to because so
Yeah.
much went in
Yeah.
and does go into the local hero awards. But you know, when you have people that come off and you can see they're emotional and they turn around and say, "Do you know what? I was about to give up on what I do." I was about. There's one in particular that I just need to mention. Daniel Anderson. Okay, he was inspiration and education winner last year.
Yep.
Daniel does obviously various works. He's helped people, you know, I'm sure that have had juvenile offences or, you know, in prisons and what have you, and rehabilitation and whatnot. But he also does a lot of sort of documentaries and things like that. So he did a documentary on an anti-bullying documentary, actually, and that very documentary has already been rolled out nationally, you know, in the UK. You know, so, but again, it's all his own finance. He's doing this, he's doing that good work to sort of, you know.
And you gave him this event.
He turned around and
gave him
said,
the exposure.
I was literally
gonna
thinking,
give up.
is there any point? Okay. And he said, this is my sign to hang on in there.
To keep going.
Thank you. You know,
Absolutely
and I said, no,
amazing.
don't thank me. I didn't decide your fate.
He
You
did
know,
it.
he did. Exactly.
Brilliant. Yeah, sometimes you know what it is. You're just a conduit, a platform,
Yeah.
and an enabler. Now, what are the ways people can get involved?
Yeah.
People can purchase a ticket to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Guys, don't think, you know, that just because I'm not a finalist or a friend or a family member, you know, isn't being recognised for anything, you know, why should I go along? Come along, because I tell you something, Bal likes a good party. Yeah. Okay? She doesn't like the boring bland stuff. I'm Indian at the end of the day. I bring spice. Okay?
Add the
At the
spice.
end of the day, you know, I like a good party. Okay? And that's what the Local Hero Awards is. If I say
It's gonna
we
be
are
a massive
celebrating,
celebration.
if I use the words we are celebrating our unsung heroes, no, there's a party and a half attached to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, just as, you know, I tell you one thing that, you know, makes me sad. So many people will spend hundreds of pounds on a ticket for, you know, seeing a pop star or something like that when you probably don't have a great view. Okay. Yes, you're hearing obviously who your idol is and what have you, but you come to the Local Hero Awards, you know, we had people right up
You'll
and
be
close.
sat amongst them.
Yeah, exactly. Up close to Apache Indian, you know, singing and dancing with him. You know, Mets and Tricks were performing last year. Obviously, we have different this year, but, you know, you are very much going to be entertained throughout. We have Tommy Sandu hosting it again.
Big name.
He was amazing last year. You know, he should come with a warning label, you know, because it's absolutely, you don't know what's going to come out of Tommy's mouth actually, but he's sure to keep you entertained. We've got, you know, beautiful talent. We've got Steph, who is originally from the X Factor.
Yep.
She'll be singing on the night. We've got Chirag Rao, who does the Bollywood Brat Pack, and he's amazing. You know,
It's going to be star-studded. It's going
yeah.
to be massive entertainment. Also,
Yeah.
Are you still looking for volunteers and crew, people to help crew
yeah,
on the evening?
we'll, because of how much is obviously, you know, to be done with the Local Hero Awards, we are still absolutely always looking for people to support. So you touched on the different ways of supporting. So Shakil's right, you can absolutely get a ticket, you know, come along, enjoy the event, you know, and be part of something, you know, bigger, you know.
Can I just say something? Being able to support the event is really, it's a powerful thing to be able to do. I'll be there, not seated, but I'm actually going to be there
Yeah.
as a volunteer supporting this event because I'm totally on board with what you've created, with the mission, with everything that you stand for. I'm 100% behind it. I will be flying in from Morocco
Yeah.
literally a few hours before because I'm doing a mountain climb. I'm climbing Mount Toubkal
Yeah.
for charity. That's the highest mountain in North Africa. And I'll be exhausted because I'll have been doing 3 days of climbing.
Yeah.
And most people will want a rest, but this is so important because I'll be buzzing. I'll be buzzing. I'll be buzzing, and I just want to make sure.
See, I know you wasn't there last year, but I already know what everybody's going to be feeling this year.
I've had so much regret that I didn't make it last year. So don't be that person who knows they can be there and then chooses not to, and then ends up like me last year, watching other people's videos, because that's the worst thing that can happen.
Well, the other thing as well, it's either tickets or tables that people can do. We are still looking for sponsors as well. So like I said, this is a non-profit event, and, I'd really appreciate the support from people, because ultimately it then comes down just to me.
And there's a sponsorship package that is affordable for everybody. There's sponsorship packages for small businesses, and there's sponsorship packages
for the larger businesses,
for the big
as well.
businesses.
Yeah, but I think it's really funny. We're talking about tickets and why should people come and what have you. I think it's really funny. My son mentioned something really, really, important yesterday. He had such a valid point, and he asked me a question, and he said, "Mum, all these different events that you've gone and you've supported." Those organisers on their events, and you've purchased tables of 10s, and you've taken people along, or you've consecutively gone out of showing your support and paid for your ticket, for the event.
I know what you're going to say.
He said, how many of those are coming to the local Heer Awards?
Can you count on one hand?
0. Not one person.
It's very telling, isn't it?
Yet to, I should say. I'm yet to see which one of those, are willing to sort of share that support back. Are they just takers? Are they just, because that's what it ultimately shows, will you just take? But when it comes to somebody else needing the support, you turn a blind eye, because you of all people, all you organisers out there, I will call you out, and I will say, of all people, how difficult it is to organise an event. Now, you chose to do something on a commercial aspect, and that's absolutely fine. But how about lending a hand? There is no threat, there is no competition. How about the same support is lended back when it's something to do, with a humanitarian level? Like I said, this cause is bigger than you and I. So I would appreciate it. You have another opportunity, okay? The event's taking place in October. I'd love for you to attend and show that support.
I love when Bal speaks like this, because what you're doing is you're calling people out on their inconsistency and their incongruity about who they claim to be. And these are the times when you find out who your friends are.
Absolutely.
You find out who's supporting you, who's with you.
Because to your face, how many times have we heard the saying, to the face, everybody's all smiles and well done, Bal. Great cause, Bal. Well, if it's so great, why can't you join me?
Well, one thing I've always said is that envy and jealousy are toxic.
Yeah.
They actually hold you back.
Yeah.
And I think to move forward in life, you've got to be happy, not just for yourself, but you've actually got to be happy for other people.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I know why you're doing this, because this event makes you incredibly happy, because you're celebrating the achievements.
I see what it means
for
to
other
people. Absolutely. It uplifts them.
Yeah.
And their messages, all these finalists that we celebrate, okay, just remember, when, don't look at it, even if you do have that envy or jealousy, whatever it is, don't look at it as in, I'm not going to go and support Bal's event. You're not supporting me. You're supporting the finalists.
The people.
Okay? You're showing your appreciation for what they do. These finalists, are a clear indication of all the goodness that we have in this world. Okay? That's what we should be celebrating, that amongst all the bad that we hear in the news and the papers and whatever it might be, so long as we have people like our finalists, we have hope.
Amazing. I think we've had a fantastic conversation this afternoon.
Could have gone for hours again.
We could, yeah. You know what? We've had so many conversations that we should have recorded.
Yeah.
And then we thought, why don't we just record a conversation and make it into a podcast, because this will hopefully give that last push. We've got 4 weeks left,
Yeah.
or nearly 5 weeks left to the event, and the tickets are on sale. Are the nominations now closed, or can still people?
So nominations are still coming in, but obviously they're automatically deferred to next year.
Yep.
So by all means, you can still nominate a local hero. We're happy to keep that aside for next year. They'll be automatically sort of put in for next year's local hero awards. But for now, if you want to attend and get a glimpse of what they could be expecting next year as well, you know, do come along, do support. Look, not everything, you know, is about sort of, you know, I'm only going to do this if I get something in return. You know, I'm hoping that there are more people just like our finalists that do things just out of the goodness of their heart because they understand it's the good thing to do. It's the right thing to do. So, yeah, anybody that sort of hasn't yet experienced the Local Hero Awards, you know, we're there. We're going to be there on Saturday, the 11th of October at the Sofitel Hotel, London Heathrow T5, and we're ready to welcome you. You know,
And the amazing thing about the venue, it's actually in the terminal at the airport.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can
come up a lift and
you can just
you're
come
there.
into the airport, catch a flight in or a train in,
Yeah,
and go straight up to the hotel.
That's it.
It couldn't be easier.
yeah. So
And there's parking there.
100%. Tickets, for anybody that needs to know, it's www.localheroawards.com. Businesses, if you need obviously an invoice or anything like that, just get in touch. You know, DM, there's all the social media platforms, you know, we'll be happy to help. But do come along and support. We need it. I need it in order to sort of continue doing the work that I do. And like I said, it's non-profit, you know, none of this. The only gain that I get from this is just that sense of fulfillment afterwards.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been absolutely amazing interviewing you, Bal, today.
Thank you,
A
Shaquille.
phenomenal conversation. Very, very inspiring. Guys, if you're watching this, be part of the movement. Either buy a ticket and be there, perhaps nominate somebody, perhaps consider being a volunteer on the night to help crew, because this is not a money-making venture. And if you've got the capacity and you want to have that conversation, get in touch with Local Hero Awards, get in touch with Bal, or even if you know me, get in touch with me, and be a sponsor of the event. Put your money into something good, and I guarantee you there will be returns. Based on how the event went last year,
Yeah.
the returns are unmeasurable.
Yeah, just check out those screens, check out the pages, have a look at that staging, have a look at those screens. Your brand could be shining on those screens.
Thank you all very much for being with us. We'll look forward to the meeting on the day again and maybe doing another interview
Yeah, sure.
at the event or post-event.
Oh, there's going to be plenty of
Loads of
interviews.
in fact, there'll be interviews all throughout the day.
Yeah,
there.
I've even been told like the actual sort of PAPs
Yeah,
more than likely are going to be there this year.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It means you're getting, I mean, and by the way, the vision of this is huge. You've already got international inquiries
Already.
saying bring it out to the Middle East, bring it out
100%.
to the USA.
Yeah, because there are incredible people across the world, and this is what's good to see. Like I said, that's what we want to highlight, you know, the good over the bad. You know, so many people live in fear these days. You know, you want to get to know these finalists. You want to get to know these people that are doing incredible things, you know, amongst their communities and societies. And I also know we didn't touch on this, but, you know, this is one of the first true multicultural events. You know, people claim multicultural, but when you get there, you feel like a minority in some way or another. Okay, the Local Hero Awards, no, you're at home.
True, yeah, it'll be
You're at home.
truly, it'll be truly an awards for all people.
Yeah.
Bal, it's been an absolute
you.
pleasure. I cannot wait to get back from the mountains in the high
Yeah.
Atlas Mountains in Morocco, and I will be there on the 11th of October. I'll be smartly dressed.
Yay.
I'll
Black tie
I'll be
event.
wearing a black tie. And I just cannot wait. Thank you so much.
Lovely, thank you.
Take care, everybody. See you all on the 11th of October at the Sofitel at the Local Hero Awards.
Yeah.